Okay. Oh, oh. Right ho. Right ho. Hello everybody, how's it going? Anyone who is out there? Just move this up towards my face. Hang on. Anyone who is out there? Just move this up towards my face. I got an audio echo, let me sort that out. How about that? How about that? Why have I got that echo? I can't work this out. So I think I've still got an echo. What about now? Right. No echo. Good. Figured it out. God, that's annoying. Right. How's it all going? How are we doing? Got there in the end. Just let me know that it sounds good for you guys as well. That would be super. Do I have an echo, or are you just being funny? Alright, I'm just going to carry on anyway. If there's something not right, just tell me. There is a bit of an echo. What about now? Has it gone? Sorted. Yeah. I keep messing with my settings for recording and streaming are different, and I haven't bothered to actually sit down and sort them out properly, which is why you guys were getting that echo. Suck at streaming, basically. So it's out of the way. Right. The live stream. Thanks for everyone for joining. Oh, it's been a while actually. I've been away on holiday for a bit. I've been working, and there were times, I'm not gonna lie, where I could have come on and streamed, and I thought, nah. Just joking. I actually really enjoy it. So yeah, hi Chris, hi Stephen. Temidayo. Cool name, man. Thanks for all you guys that are saying that you've enjoyed my videos. I've been really happy actually with the way YouTube's been going recently for me. Really happy. It's not the quite often people talk of like a hockey stick growth where it just kind of goes up a bit. Woof. I've not had that. But it's still growing, man. It's still growing, which means people are enjoying what I'm doing, or at least watching it. I don't know. That's the only metric I go on, really. So yeah, pleased with that. Pleased, really pleased. My latest one has over 3k views in 2.5 days. I can't go right. That's brilliant. When I started this, I was just couldn't have convinced me that it would ever get this far. So massive thanks to all you guys that watched it, and thank you for all the kind comments saying that you've enjoyed it. Really appreciate it. Hello Chiron, how's it going, mate? Praveen, hello. A regular commenter as well. Today's topic, do you know what? I don't really have a topic today other than I was just going to come on and just chat with you guys and see how it goes. It's a Saturday night, so obviously, you know, as soon as the boys give me a call, we'll go out on the town. Maybe when I was younger, not anymore. All my social events, all full moon, yeah. All my social events are extremely well scheduled now, and that's thanks to my friends, not me. I couldn't organise anything like that. Do I do YouTube full time? No, I have a full time job. Do YouTube on the side. Yeah. I'd like to try YouTube full time for a bit. I'm not sure how long it will last. The general thing is like creators have something like 5-year shelf life before that's it. Not sure if that's exactly true for everybody. I think that seems to be true for quite some of the larger ones. I'm in year 3. I must have been almost 3 years. 3 years, 2019, November 2019. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, so some of the stuff I'm working on coming up. I don't know if you guys, if you saw any of my the more recent videos, which have been more like yes, Sam, that's exactly what I was just going to talk about, expanding out of that. So the more recent videos have been on, like, I did a video on data classes, which is, it kind of comes into the same sort of thing. It's really useful. I found, do you know what I found? Because I'd been learning a bit of Golang. I found that the few things I really liked from it benefited and helped out my Python quite a lot, because then I was able to understand a bit more about why type hints, type checking, being a bit more what's the word I'm looking for? Concerned about your types and stuff like that, and actually like the data structs in Go and marshalling and unmarshalling data. It's all there in Python as well, which is why my last videos have been about data classes, which I think are great. I'm going to do a video coming up on data on JSON serializing as well, because obviously I work with a lot of web data, which is all JSON. So yeah, Marshmallow. And my favorite Flask video and tutorial creator Miguel Grimberg uses Marshmallow, so it must be good. So yeah, although I sort of like cut my teeth on web scraping niche in YouTube, I'm going to keep doing videos on it, but I'm going to sort of move into more Python as well. Do I have a GPU? Yeah, I've got an amazing one. I've got a I haven't upgraded my PC for like 3 years, and 3 years ago it was like low to mid tier. So I've got a 1660 Super and a 1600 AF Radeon AMD chip thing. I don't really care about computers anymore, to be honest. Just a tool to me now. Don't think I'm ever going to play games again anyway. Not because I think it's bad, just because I'm not interested. Scraper API, I've never used it. I've not used any of those Scraper API things really. There's a few out there that I keep meaning to check out, and people have asked me if I want to like check them out and have a look, and I thought about it. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what the point is. Not that there is no point, but like, why you wouldn't just do it yourself? I don't know. I'm sure they have a purpose for some people, but I just don't think that person is me. Welcome, Kim. How's it going, mate? Can I make a lengthy video? How long? How long a video do you want? I'll make it as long as you like, as long as you watch it end to end. Everyone. My average view duration on YouTube is quite low. It's like 3.5 minutes. My last one did just over 4 minutes, which is why it's done a bit better. It's a proxy. So I like some of those. Oh, isn't it? Okay. I thought we were talking about one of those like Scraper API things. Some of them have 4G proxies. Could be quite a good way to get into trying out 4G data proxies, which are pretty good. Khalil, that's really kind of you, man. When is Selenium better to use than Playwright? I think Selenium is extremely well established in the industry of website testing. The reason why I advocate Playwright so much is for what I say people to use it for, which is for loading up a browser and navigating websites and stuff. It's just easier to work with because it's newer. I think it's got a neater API. But Selenium, I think, is still the main one in the actual testing space, because you have, is it called Selenium Grid, which is like is it like a Kubernetes hosted thing? I don't know that exactly. I'm not totally. Hey, Christoph, welcome back. Regular, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Fucking, I can't even talk. Nice to see you again. Yeah. Scrapey is completely different. You can use Scrapey with either of them as well if you want to. If you're serious about web scraping, then Scrapey is generally the best option. That's generally the way to go. Depends though on what you're trying to do, because sometimes it's easier just to write your own script. So here's my take on frameworks. Late as always. Hey, we've only just started, and the first part, Christoph, I was messing around because I had an echo on my audio. So there you go. So if you want to go away and come back again in half an hour, you can be late. Just kidding. Grigori, hi mate. Hello, welcome. You're down to watch end-to-end if you do a project like... Yeah. So I'm going to do a full... What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full like scraping project. So I get in my... I like to... watch other people's videos and see what's going on around Python and creating and the like. And I think there's a space for like actual project videos where sort of people who are newer to the language can understand the beginning and then progress through it. I think a lot of people try to do that, but get stuck about just, reading out what they're typing, and that's just not the greatest way. So I'm going to try and take like a really simple, like 4 or 5 line web scraping script that just does one thing, and we're going to slowly build it up, and it'll be one long video of then I would do this and then I would do this of why, and hopefully it'll work. So that'll come this year, maybe next month. Yeah. I was going to do I'll talk about it in a minute. Do I ever go to Stack Overflow? Yeah. All the time. Do you know what? The things that I Google the most are like, and this is an interesting one, because obviously I import data from CSV a lot if I have like a list of stuff that I want to, I don't know, a list of, I don't know, whatever that you want to do, whatever you want to go through. And because I always copy and pasted my like function to how to take the data from a CSV and then turn it out and then put it into my code as like tuples or a list of tuples or a list of lists or something, I can never remember exactly how to do it, so I always keep Googling it. So if you sat me down and told me that I had to import like a CSV using the CSV module into Python and put a gun to my head, I'd probably fail, just because I copy and pasted it the whole time. But if you were to give me like requests and say, right, give me a session, get me some data from this website, I'd just be able to do it, no problem. Funny. Oh no. Right, if my audio is out of sync now, I'm going to reboot. I'm going to re-chest. So just let me know if my audio is out of sync with my mouth. Have I got any experience with AWS? No, I haven't actually. I have got an account. I keep meaning to try it out, but I stick all my stuff on DigitalOcean. I have a sadness about it. I'm extremely not sad. I can guarantee you that. It's probably the angle of the camera and where my eyes are looking. Camera's up there, you see, and I'm reading down here. I keep my eyes like this. Also, it's Saturday night. I've got nothing to do apart from have a beer and chat about stuff that I like, so pretty good. What things should I learn next? Looking for JSON data. So the best skill that I found, right, is that after I understood the main methods of how to scrape data, like you said, Beautiful Soup, Selenium, Scrapey, all that sort of shit. The best thing that I found was actually taking a step back and looking through the site and trying to figure out what the best way to get the data out that I wanted in the most minimal amount of requests possible. So so I would do that. Sometimes, and I know I've done lots of videos that say like it's always the easiest to try and find the API and grab all the JSON, but it depends what you want. If you want 2 pieces of information and you can just grab it from the HTML, just do that. So thinking like that. So a way to scrape JavaScript dynamically generated links. Do you mean like links that happen when something triggers on the page? You can just do that with Playwright. Playwright and Selenium essentially do the same thing. They just control Chrome or Firefox or Edge. Who uses Edge? Hey Eric, how's it going, mate? Nice to see you again. Tom's 84, thank you. More Playwright content. I've done a lot less browser automation stuff. It's funny, I have a few scripts that I use in my day job just to do a few basic tasks that you do on Playwright. It's hard to find something interesting with that. So I have covered Playwright and Playwright Scrapey, but only a couple of times. Infinite Scroll has capture. Captures are a pain and a bit of a problem. You can depends how they come up. If they're you can either try and avoid them with proxies, or if they keep coming up, you have to break them with focus. There we go. No. Come on. Let me step. Come on. There we go. Great picture quality. Crappy focus, this camera. Yeah, or you have to pay, like, you just basically pay someone to break it for you. There's a service where you can just send it to them and they send you back the broken code or the solving thing. You need a way to organize a lot of e-commerce products. What's PIM? I'm not sure what you mean. And you're scraping with Collie? Cool. ScrapeRank gave you 10k tokens. Oh, okay, fair enough. What do you actually do with your scrape data? I scrape it. So generally personal use, probably a lot less so nowadays than before. I used to collect data and hold it and store it for comparison, I suppose, is the obvious option. Most of the time now it'll be for other people, for whatever they want to do with it, basically. I don't ask what it's for. I just do my bit. Instagram Reels, yeah, I don't have an awful lot of experience with scraping Instagram. It seemed to be more hassle than it was worth, basically. So I don't really, because what I tend to do, there's not a whole lot of, I don't know if there's big companies that want loads of, I don't know, it's hard to say. I don't really know. I don't really have a lot of experience with Instagram ones though, to be fair. It's a pain in the arse though, I know that much. A 1 hour async.io video. You must have a really long attention span, because I think I'd be bored after an hour about async.io in Python. Especially if I made it. My async knowledge in Python goes as far as how to make async requests, basically. Although I have done some stuff about, apart from, like async web frameworks like Fast API, I know how to use to a okay level, I suppose. Yeah. You're learning Django now. Ooh. Any advice? Not really. Django's great. I love it. It's my go-to. I would say just just keep going, keep making sites, keep making things. Learn about one thing that I found that I had holes in my knowledge was making good queries with the ORM. So yeah, there's loads of stuff to learn with Django, but it's such a great framework. It reminds me, it's like Rails. It's got everything. You can usually watch tutorials for hours and then start practicing. Wow. Good. I suppose that's good for me if you're watching some of mine. Have I ever come across Airflow? No. Looking it up. Oh. Yes. Yes. And I've never used it, so I've never used it, but I think we looked at this before. It looks cool. It's on my list of things. I've got like I use Obsidian for note taking. Not that I use it properly. I just write shit in there. And if this is on my list of stuff to look up, I'd love to get round to. But I'm trying to write more code at the moment. I went through a reasonably long period of time where I wasn't actually writing enough code, which is not good. Not good. But I've been using the Go language a lot lately, Philippe. Yeah, I have. I'm not good at it. I'm not good enough at it yet, though, which is really quite frustrating. I thought I'd be better by now. Not that it's hard. It's just it's different, and I'm being impatient, basically. What do I do in my free time? YouTube. YouTube, making videos, going out for walks along the beach. I don't know, nothing. I have a mountain bike, which I ride rarely. Guitars over there. That I don't play anymore, really. Do I play in a band? I used to play in a covers band, which was good fun. I enjoyed it. It's a lot of effort, though. Far too much effort, especially learning songs that I don't like. And basically the whole of our set list was songs that I'd played myself more than I'd ever listened to the original artist. So, but it was good fun. Play some music, have a bit of a laugh, have a few drinks with friends afterwards. Can I check your Instagram? I don't really use Instagram anymore. I thought I was going to, but I've stopped. I don't know. I didn't really like it. If you want to DM me, Twitter maybe. Android applications. I've never done any Android stuff. My coding experience is very much data orientated, although I'm not a data analyst. I'm good at working with it, and I like making APIs, web applications, but I don't do front end because I don't know, too much effort. JavaScript. There's I reckon, and this goes back to the Django thing. It's I think a lot of people really over-engineer their basic sites. It could just be, Django templates, and no one that uses it would ever complain. So, yeah. How long have we been going for? Where's my where's my thing? Oh, there we go. Cool. Yeah, I would generally. So most of my work, if it's providing data, then you've got a few options, Eric. I generally don't do a front end because it's not what I'm really good at, and that to be good at front end, back end, and it's a lot of work. I know some people are, but I'm not. So I would always provide just either they can have the code that they can run, because a lot of people who come to me are the video's delayed. Is it? Okay. Let me resolve that. Oh, and now my video's gone off. Hang on, I'm coming back. Right, hopefully it's better now. I should be more in sync. If I'm not, then I don't know. There's not much to watch anyway. It's just me talking. Yeah, to sum up what I was saying, I would either provide the entire data or give them the Python code, because a lot of people that have come to me can have their own code, or push it into their system, or you would provide them with some kind of web application where they could download it. That's my least favorite, because it requires a lot more work and a lot more effort, although it can be the more profitable because you're providing more of a service. Depends what they want. How old am I? 36. I started to learn to code when I was 18, and did it for a year or two, ditched it, never went back to it, and started again properly 4 years ago. I wouldn't ever send an exe for Python. That's one of the things where Go actually comes into its own, because you can create an exe or a binary for Linux, Mac, and Windows. So it's another option. Although generally, depends what they want. Also, it depends how much time and effort you want to put into it, how much money is involved, etc., etc. Hey Pranav, data structures. Starting out, no, I wouldn't bother if you're starting out. That's definitely something to come back to. If you're starting out, make sure you can create something that in some way, shape or form does what you wanted it to do. So even if it's fragile and brittle and it breaks a lot, even if it does roughly what you wanted it to do, that's where you want to get to, because then you can feel like, this is what I can do at this much. One day you can be better than me. There you go. Strive for that. Don't smile much. Don't know what to say to that one. I'm not going to fake a smile now. In fact, I'm going to suppress it all. Hey, little donkey. Is that Polish? Either way, can't understand it, I'm afraid. Oh, there we go. I work full time. I have a full-time salary job. I do YouTube and I do some freelancing. No worries, man. It's all good. I do some freelance and other work. Although I'm not a massive fan totally of the freelance always, just because if you ever start freelancing, you understand how much time is taken up by dealing with the clients, and how that's different to writing the actual program and solving the problems. So I've only got a limited amount of time. So it's quite, although obviously it can lead to more money, it's not always the best use of my time, especially when I'm more focusing on YouTube at the moment, just because I think I'm enjoying it more, and I have some goals in my mind that I want to reach. I do everything in my videos myself. Yeah, pretty much. Circle import error. Oh dear. I'm assuming you're trying to import from different files. But, yeah, that's really hard to diagnose without seeing it. Sorry. Sevenfold, thank you for the content. Thank you for watching. And Trion, hello. Thanks for dropping by. There's a few new names and a few regular names as well, which is I'm really, really impressed with, considering my streaming schedule is non-existent. I just turn up randomly every now and again. You guys join in, so yeah, pretty pleased with that. Yeah. Linux deployment. Oh, deployment is a. Do you know what? For deployment, I follow guides. Honestly, because I don't do it enough for it to be like deeply ingrained. So yeah, I do. There's some really good ones on. If you go to DigitalOcean and you look at their like guides and tutorials, there's some really good ones. There's good Flask ones, Django ones, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, honestly, I do. I'd love to do more deployment stuff, but I just find it so finicky. I don't know if that word will translate for you that aren't English or British, probably. So yeah, it's a difficult one. I do use Linux though. I would highly recommend even if flaky, yeah, it's not bad. Not totally the same. Finicky is more like fiddly, I suppose. I definitely recommend if you're even if you want to stick with Windows, that you try out WSL and start learning Linux commands, because as soon as you try and put anything on the web, you'll need to know how to do basic Linux stuff. Obviously, I use Linux full time for everything, obviously, of course. Even streaming, which is why my video and audio went out of sync and why I had an echo at the start, because it's just a pain in the bum. You're a designer? Cool, I could do with a designer. I'm glad you enjoy my videos. I really appreciate that. I'm going to try Mercia. That's a good enough guess. And Martin, I don't know anything about Apache B. I'm going to have to say, is this going to be another thing that I'm going to have to add to my list of stuff that I need to learn about? Oh, yeah, I think it will be. I don't even know if I've heard of this. Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. That's cool. I'll know how to add that to my list. Does Python automation help you gain popularity? Like kinds of bots. Not sure what you exactly mean by that. Should I follow strict design patterns? Depends on what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve, where you're working, and where you are in your learning journey. If your goal at the moment is to learn as much as you can, like what I said earlier, set your goal, a reasonable, accessible goal, and just do whatever you need to do to get there. However basic, it doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter if you do 100 lines when one is necessary. Do whatever you need to do to get there. You'll learn so much more. strict design patterns come into play more like when you're working for a company building production application or working on their production application, and they want it all done in a certain way, in my opinion. You like Linux too? I like Linux too, although I don't use Arch. No, I use Ubuntu, I'm afraid. Although I do use i3, because I can't live without a window manager now, a tiling window manager. Once you get used to it, no going back. You'd like to start a YouTube channel one day? So I told you that I'd started learning coding properly about 4 years ago. I started this channel 3 years ago. I sucked at coding and YouTube. If you want to do it, just do it. Just I think that what's good is if you just, as long as you explain, like you say, hey, this is how I solved this problem. And then people are fine because they understand. It's if you to try and think like, I'm the best at this. This is how you should absolutely do it, and you do something wrong, people might get more offended. But if you say, I'm learning, this is what I've done to solve this problem, this is what happens when you do this because I just learned about it, that's absolutely fine. People love that sort of content on YouTube. Although being a programming YouTuber is not a path to gold, from my experience. But Raj, hello. How's it going, mate? You follow my tutorials for a REST API, use it at work, and you use it at work. Nice. That's great. Really good, that one. Well done, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Eric, are you talking about how do you approach dealing with errors? Do this instead of. Log to trap. Okay. Okay. And log to catch an error and troubleshooting. How do you approach with the error? How do you approach dealing with errors? Do this instead of. I'm not entirely sure what you mean. I don't like error handling in Python really. The try and accept thing just feels clunky to me. I feel like the Go approach where if there's an error, it will return an error. Not necessarily better, it just feels more logical in my head. It's not necessarily correct, but dealing when things go wrong, go to plan B. Yeah, you have to use try and accept really, unless maybe you might be able to work with an if statement as well. But definitely try this coded block and then accept if you get this block, do this, and then is it try, accept, and finally or something like that. Try, accept. I can't remember. There's another one, isn't there? Yeah, so you get like try this, accept this, and then finally. Oh, there's else as well. Try this, accept this, else do this, and then finally will always do whatever you put in finally. So you've always got like a comeback at the end. Yeah. What do you think about the future of other programming languages? We need to stop making programming languages. There's too many. I don't know. I keep seeing like people using these weird and wonderful languages that are just, I don't know, they just seem to be different for the sake of being different. I don't know. I guess you like what you like, but based on what you learned at the time. Learn a lot from thank you, man. I appreciate that. From Mexico. Nice. Avoiding legal problems. Generally, like my kind of thing is if you're not as long as you're not like going through a login or anything like that, because if you're going through a login, you technically signed an agreement which probably in there somewhere covers misuse of their data. But if you're not using a login, you're just using your system that your browser is doing to access a part of the data that is available. I think you'll be fine. All that's going to happen is if they don't like what you're doing, they'll block your IP. No one's going to sue you over it. Not unless, of course, you make a big company from it and you make loads of money. Then they decide they want some of that money. Then maybe, but even then, I don't know. I think you'd be all right. Advice on starting a business based on scrape prices. Mitigate risks. What sort of risks? Legal, like the one like I just explained, or well, if you think about what's that? What's the computer parts website that everyone uses to find like the best prices for PC parts and what goes together? I say everyone. It might just be UK and US. Can't remember what it's called. You probably can't. You'll have your message deleted if you post a link anyway. Anyway, what's it called? Risk of not being able to scrape. I think generally what a lot of them do is they'll say the price was correct as of this time. So you put a timestamp with your last pulled piece of data. It depends on how you're monetizing it as well. So if you're monetizing it saying this is the best one to go for now and you're using an affiliate link, you'll be fine because you can be like, hey, like this is the best price as of now, this time, this is the best one, here's the affiliate link. Generally speaking though, you want to, what is that PC one? Oh, PC parts picker. That's it. See, this is a great example. Let me see if I can not dox myself. I'm so terrified of like sharing my screen, and because I use this PC for everything. We should be good here. There we go. This one. So this is a good example, right? So they're basically just pulling the information from all the sites that they do into a table. So this is like, look, this is all scraped data, right? And they've decided, oh, this goes well together. So here's all your links. And this is all affiliate links, obviously. These are the cheapest based on our data now. There you go. So this is a good, and look, they even say, I mean, this is supposed to be a great AMD gaming build, and then they say potential compatibilities issues. I don't know. But you see, you can just do all this, and this is the sort of thing that people struggle. This is solving a problem, right? Because building your own PC is pretty mainstream now, especially with like the advent of streamers and stuff like that. I was obviously building my own PCs, for like since I was 14 or something. Anyway, never mind. But yeah, so they're pulling all the data in, and they're sort of like they're adding it to a thing and doing something else with it. So it's like, it's hard to the best way I can explain it is if you're trying to compare loads of data, you need to take it to one more step above. So this is all the data that you're comparing. To make it useful, you need to go one more step above that and do one thing with it to make it better. Yeah? So, from my opinion, the comparison, if the comparison makes a lot of people's lives easier and provides them information, then that kind of counts as one step over. But this is another step. This is what I would think is the best way. Cheapest groceries. 30,000 prices a week. Okay. I've done something similar to that before. I had no problems until the site put in like the top level Cloudflare. And then it was boo. Then it was over, really. It's a difficult one because groceries is kind of like, I think the best places to go are more, let me try and think what the best way to try and say what I'm trying to say. I still like the PC part picker example because it's a luxury item, so people are more likely to think more about where and what they're buying because it's going to be like they don't need it. Well, some people might, but it's like a luxury thing and they're going to be spending more money on it. Whereas I would say groceries is better for things like large data comparison and analysis. So you can say, hey, supermarket X is doing a deal on these things, this group of products, this sort of thing like this. They're doing this with it, and then you can take it to another supermarket. Whereas price comparison is probably, because if I'm going to go to Tesco's, I'm just going to go to Tesco's and buy the stuff that I want, right? Regardless if it was 20p cheaper somewhere else. I don't know, maybe I'm not the right person for that example. Maybe the UK isn't the right country for that example. How do you compare groceries when they have slightly different names? Well, that's the thing. That's the problem, right? So that becomes very difficult. So some of them will still have the same identifiers. If it's like a branded product, but for the supermarket branded ones, it can be really difficult because you need to kind of figure out what the direct comparison is and link the two together in your system, so it's not so straightforward. But I mean, supermarkets literally have teams of people that do this, doing the analysis and the comparison, seeing what the competitors are doing. Fuzzy matching does work, yeah. Could be used to do research on actual inflation, absolutely, yeah. So you're getting to a point where, in my opinion, you're starting to muddy a few different lines. So it's like, do you want to do analysis on data, or do you want to provide a data service, or do you want to just get data for them people to create that service? So it's because I'm nowhere near. I'm not a data analyst at all. I don't know much about it, which is why I'd love to do videos on it, but I don't know if I'm that particularly interested in like analyzing the data so much. I think I would be if I actually sat down and learned some more pandas, sat down with some notebooks and figured out some cool stuff with data. In fact, I would enjoy that, but it's just not as high up on my list right now. So async session by request HTML. I'm sure I've done one. I used I'm sure I did. Using the data to build shopping lists. There we go. Yeah, that's the one step up. So you got all the data, and then going one step above that is like, this is a good shopping list for this, and here's where the best place is to buy that. Yeah, I like that idea. I like that. That's good. It's going to be difficult with groceries though, because there's so many different products, and as we said, they don't all have like the same things, names, etc. Thanks very much, Jill. Appreciate that, man. You'll teach me anything I want to learn about analysis, only fair. I might take you up on that. Others will not request. Okay, fair enough. I used to use request HTML all the time, but I've just slowly drifted back to requests and then an HTML parser. I've been trying out Parcel, which is the scrapey HTML parser, just separate to scrapey, which is pretty good because I use CSS selectors all the time. GL, thanks for the question and thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it, man. Do you ever feel the need to build the backend with multiple languages or best stick to one? My main language is Python, which is good for data and backend, so I would tend to stick to one. I know people that, I guess, whichever you're comfortable with, if you're building a backend API, for example, and you know how to do it in, I don't know, any language, it doesn't matter. I've thought about it, and I would eventually. I am learning building backends in Go, of which if I ever want to push data into and scrape data, use Python to do so. I'm not against mixing and matching languages. I'm just only really good at Python, to be honest. That's why I use that one. There's another interesting. Let's see if I can. Another interesting comparison website I like. Hey Fanny, how's it going, mate? I'm good. What's that called? It's like hang on, let me Google it. There we go. Now, I really like this one. And I need you to tell me why. How cool is this, right? Such a simple, basic idea where everything's an Amazon link. So this is all Amazon affiliate links, right? And if you need to buy a hard drive and you don't particularly care, this is such a good way of like, okay, so this one's going to cost me X amount per terabyte, like total price and capacity. Pretty cool. It's basically just a really basic website with just one massive long list. Brilliant. That's why I like this one. No fancy stuff. Really easy. That was a great idea. How do you scrape a list of different website URLs for the same item? That's the problem, right? So if you have different websites, you have to build a scraper for a different one, each one, because it's all going to be different. The structure of the website is going to be different. One thing you can do is try to create functions for as much of the same reusable code as possible. So like maybe take make a function that passes the data but takes in the selectors that you need, so you can reuse as much as you can, but generally you have to build a separate one for each website. Hey Nick, how's it going, man? Nice to see you again. Everything young people earn on YouTube today is based on copying previously conceived ideas. Have you thought about this form of earning money instead of making programming videos? So I don't think any of my ideas for programming videos are particularly original. It's just my take on it. So I kind of am doing that in a way. I'm certainly not the first person to think, oh, let's demonstrate how to do this with Python. I just try and do it in my way whilst explaining to people in my way how it's done. I don't think, depends, if you mean young, when you say young people, if you mean like the youth, not sure I really want them as an audience. No offense. I don't share this. I don't think I'm going to appeal to them either way, because I just don't share the same sort of humor, I suppose. How do you like scraping metal for web pages? Generally, I would build it in with requests first, and once I get going, if it gets to a point where I'm like, I need a bit more for this, or I'm just going to end up rewriting loads of stuff, then Scrapey is a good option because it's got everything for you. How long have we been going for? An hour, not bad, not bad. I'm just going to be right back. I'm just There we go. Back. Let's see. Hang on. That 100 millionth. Bloody hell. Crazy. That guy's just completely broke YouTube. Crazy. Just like, if you ever hear him talk about Mr. Beast, that is, about some of the money that's he's made and then he's spent on making videos, it's just crazy. All for like a 20-minute YouTube video. That's... My son wants to say hi. Hi to your son, Christoph. Hello. Hope he's doing well. What's my favourite drink at the pub? Pint of whiskey. One of my projects is to build a Python application to automate some SQL stuff. Oh, how can I do it? You'll need credentials. You have to have the login credentials. There's no other way around it. And also be careful with work data if you're poking around, messing around. Paid API about football stats. Football stats. Blech, I can't talk. Football stats. Owner changes the code of the site. Yeah. I don't know any actually. When you say football, do you mean soccer? Assume you do. I don't know. I've never actually used a I've never used one. I'm sure there's loads. There must be. I don't know actually. I've never used what do you have to log into? 'Cause I guess you have to, is it MySQL? You have to, if it's something like that, then you just use, in the connection string, you put the username and password as well. SQL Server. I'm not sure, I've not done that before. I'm sure there's a way. I'm not entirely sure, I'm afraid. I normally just drink standard lager, by the way. I think we might start to wind this down. I've been going for just over an hour. Pretty good. Gazine, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad that I said this at the beginning. I'm really pleased that the people have been learning stuff from the content I put up. You're gonna miss me so much. Well, I don't know. I'll be back, I guess. Well, I'm going to go. I'm going to watch some crap on YouTube, probably. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, everyone. Really appreciate it. Sorry about the sound qualities at the start. Sound issues at the start. And every time I do these, I promise that I'll make a better schedule. I'll have some proper topics to talk about. And what else? Something else as well, I normally promise. All of which are absolutely coming, by the way. I just like coming on here and talking crap, to be honest. It's good fun. Cheers, Eric. Appreciate it. Thanks, Sam. Hey, I'm really appreciative. That's great, man. Thank you all. Thank you. Thanks, Christoph. And say hi to your son. And I will see you guys next time. Cheers. Bye.